All right, so here is the assignment page on Schoology. And if you open up the assignment, there's going to be some direction, and here are some popcorn files. All right. So if you click on one, it'll ask you to download it. I would download it. Then I'm going to come over here to the start button, click on it, and I'm going to look for Photoshop. So wait for this to load. Here we go. So what I'm going to do is show you how to get a file into Photoshop, add a layer, and draw on top of the photo, but save it to a layer. Step one. Come on.
I actually did not really watch season 4 very closely, so I would need to watch that anyways.
Let's load up here. I'm going to then go to File, New.
You watch
I'm
one?
not going to wait for it. Hopefully it'll load quickly. There we go. And over here, I'm going to go to Create. And here is my workspace. So I'm just going over here on the tab to layer window, and then I'm looking for layers, and you can see that I have one layer. It's a background layer, which is what I'm on right now. So I'm going to add a new layer. There it is. And I'm going to, then I'm going to go across here to File, and I'm going to go to Import. Let's see, is that how I want to do it? Actually, I'll go to File, Open. I'm going to look at my downloads, and then I'm going to find the popcorn. So there's always a couple of ways to do things in Photoshop. So File, Open is probably the most efficient, to tell you the truth. And then from here, I'm going to add a layer. And when I do so, you can see I have my background layer, which is the popcorn, layer 1. So I always want layer 1 to be lighter in color or selected. And when I click on the eyeball next to it, nothing happens, but when I click on the background layer eyeball, it hides it. So you can see that they are separated. I'm going to unlock it, but make sure that I click on layer 1. So some of the tools over here, we have the magnifying glass. When you click on it, it's going to give you some options. One of them is the plus button. One is the minus button. Okay. Here's your paintbrush. If you hover over it, you'll see that. If you right click, you'll get the pencil tool. And then the pencil tool has its own options, and next to one will be the option to change the size of it. To pick a color, I can come down here and it says foreground picker color picker foreground, excuse me. And I'm going to go black for this. It can be any color you want. And then when I draw, it will save to that layer by itself. Okay, now that it seems maybe not a good start. The line's a little too thick, so I can come up here And I can go edit, undo, and edit, undo pencil. So then I'll come back to my pencil and I'm going to pick a different size. 28 pixels is too big. That's probably a better size right there. 7 is a good size. Across the selections right here, you can have different types of effects with your pencil. Some of that we'll get into a little later. Opacity. How heavy do you want to make your marks? So I change my opacity down to 56 from 100, and you can see that mark's a little lighter, and then down to 30. So I'm actually going to start with 30. And you know, I'm going to go a little quick here. I'd love you to take some time. And I'm not using a drawing pad, I'm just using my mouse. And wherever I'm looking, I want my mouse or my cursor to go to. Sounds easy, but it takes a little bit of practice to get that, especially using a tool you may have never used before. And now I'm going to the inside of the shape. I'm giving it some texture. And there's some shadows around here, so you know, I can, in some ways, cheat. I can come to my color picker and it'll pick exact colors for me with this little target. And you'll see the colors that I pick on, they change right here. So then I can come back. We can start to add color if I want, but really I'm just trying to draw values, so different lights and darks. And I can check my progress by coming over to the right hand side of my screen and clicking on the eyeball and see how I'm doing. All right. Looks a little hard to see, but we can adjust that after you spend a little time working on this drawing. So you might get sick of the pencil. You're like, I want to do a little color. So you can click on the brush tool, which I just did. So I came over here to my tool selection, scroll down to my pencil, then right clicked, and it gave me some options, including paint bucket, which is useful. But we're going to go back to brush and then adjust the size of it. Again, you have other options, and you can start to paint. Well, that is not a good choice for paint right there. So I'm going to use my color picker, click on it, and begin to paint around here. A little hard to see, but it will show up. And there's some areas in here that might be a little difficult you want to zoom in on. So I click on my magnifying glass right here to the plus at the top, and I can zoom right in, get my color picker, click it, go back to my brush, and begin to take my time. See, I'm going a little quick, but take my time and add color. And it looks a little distorted because I'm zoomed in, so click on the magnifying glass and zoom out. So I'd like you to spend a little time just using those tools, but what's most important is that you're going to be saving your work to a separate layer and not on top of the original photo or the background layer, okay? And of course, if you have questions, just ask and we'll help you out. Thank you.